Hey, it's Bruce from the Joinery Coach coming at you live from the Biesse Material Week, a conference or open house here in Sydney in Wetherill Park. And I am doing our podcast live in the upper deck here in Sydney. Now, we've been invited to come and talk at this event, and I've just finished up my workshop. We had a great room full of amazing business owners talking about how do you go from craftsmanship and being on the tools to being leadership in business. It's probably the hardest, it's probably the hardest thing for people to do, which is to transition from being a tradesman on the tools to actually running a business. And everybody in the room, as is always the case, acknowledge that they know how to do their stuff. They know how to build cabinets. They know all of that stuff. The hard thing is, how do we put this into a business outcome? And yesterday, Nigel, who you know is our efficiency amazing coach, he ran a workshop that's called From Bottlenecks to Breakthroughs, and really talked about how do you systemize the things that you're doing in your business and put that into systematic scientific thinking and really break things down to the concept of small batch lots. We've got a lot of inherent built-in mindset things that we want to break through in this industry. And our passion, our reason for being is to shake the tree a little bit, is to get business owners, if you're running a cabinet business or a joinery business, and at any point you're saying this just isn't worth it, or this is too hard, I don't know if this is worth all the effort I'm putting in. You're probably right if the way you're doing it right now is having you ask that question. But that doesn't mean that we can't make some changes. That doesn't mean that we can't make it be worthwhile. So it's just so rewarding being here with a group of businesses that we're not working with as clients, because of course, our clients that we work with at the Joinery Coach are all engaged. They're all really doing some amazing things right now. But talking to business owners that are saying they need some help as well, just again verifies the challenge we have in the industry broadly. So again, I wanted to just sort of talk a little bit about the current challenges that we know and how do we verify that they're legitimate challenges. One of the really cool stories that Nigel has brought to the table is the conversation around what eras are we talking about. If we go back far enough at the time, we talk about the craftsmanship era, right? The craftsman era, where if you were a cabinet maker, you had a whole heap of tools in leather pouches and wood boxes, and you might maybe drew a little bit of things, but for the most part, everything you did was by hand, and every single thing you did was a one-off thing, crafted by hand, really, really hard to do, and you were a highly skilled person. And that era, if we reflect back on it and then jump forward to today, we still see so many businesses setting up their kitchens in the factory like we used to do in the craftsman era. And our message is not to say don't set anything up. Our message is to say let's not think like we did in the craftsman era. Let's think about business from a manufacturing perspective. And the reality is CAD/CAM software, as soon as they came in, eliminated to a very large degree the need to set things up, because it's now set up in the software. So businesses that already made that transition, where they're setting up very few things in their factory, see massive steps forward. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't still challenges or improvements for them to make, but it means that they've gotten over one of the biggest hurdles, which was to stop doing things the way we did them 30, 40 years ago, just because that's the way we've always done them. So at an event like this, we're surrounded by technology. We're surrounded by world-class, leading edge, advanced manufacturing technology. And we're mixing with business owners that are, cabinet manufacturing businesses, joinery, furniture, really, really advanced stuff. Now, the thing that I know to be true is that 30 years ago, when we didn't have a lot of this fancy technology, we were having the same business struggles and conversations back then that we're having today. So we know for certain that buying some of this amazing machinery and software on its own didn't solve the problem. We now know that with a very high degree of certainty that the solution lies within the capabilities of the people in the business. And that capability is to do whatever they can do with whatever software or machinery or technology they have available at that time. There will always be another piece of technology, software, machinery that's going to be better than the one you have right now. That'll always be the case. That doesn't mean that the next thing that you need to buy is going to be the magic wand that's going to solve your business problems. It just means that we're going to continuously get a little bit better. But what it also means is that the best investment that you can make is in the human capabilities in your business. Similarly, we have clients that have very basic rudimentary machinery. CNC machines that don't have automatic loading, that don't have automatic labeling. They've just got the bed, and we're making a trolley to have parts coming off. We're doing things that are really creative rather than investing in really expensive new technology. So, we're thinking about even rudimentary machinery and how do we get the most out of that. Coming to an event like this and mixing with the industry still, for me, it still reinforces that we've got a journey to go on. We've got a task at hand still to get over, where as an industry, we've got to get into 2025. We've got to get into the current way of thinking so that we're actually taking full advantage of all this amazing technology that's available at our fingertips. I just look around here at this facility and there are literally millions and millions of dollars worth of amazing technology here available. Yet we just ran 2 workshops with business owners talking about their struggles, and they all have this machinery. They all have this to some degree. So we've got some work to do in our industry, and it's heartening to come to these events to see more and more and more business owners are actually willing to go on that journey, because they now realize that buying a shiny object isn't solving their problems to the degree that they would like it. The good news is they're still in business and they're still working on making it better, but it isn't to the level that it should be right now. So today's podcast is really just a reflection on how far we've come, a reminder that the industry has still got some maturing to do. We still see a lot of people working like we did in the Craftsman era, where a lot of stuff is still being done on the factory floor. Even though the company itself has invested heavily in technology, there seems to be a point where we're still not making full use of that. It's been really enjoyable, this event, and just mixing with other people. And again, it reinforces where we're at right now, that the road that we're on as a business is definitely the right road for us to be on, because it's helping so many people take that next step. Rather than talking about buying new machinery, let's talk about the machinery you have, take full advantage of that, and then that new machinery that you're going to purchase, you're going to get full advantage of it. So many of you are longtime podcast listeners and have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel. We'd love it if you would, click subscribe on our YouTube channel, and we'd like to grow that list a little bit. For those of you that are longtime podcast listeners, you'll know that we often talk about giving away some amazing tips and tricks and things that are going to help your business. I'd like to talk a little bit about the human side of things that we know that are not directly related to business, in the way of tools and techniques and tips, things that you can be doing personally in your life that are going to have a direct influence or impact on how your business performs. I think one of the things that I realize more often than I should is the balance of business and life. We all heard this story, right? Eventually we're going to find the work-life balance that everybody thinks is out there. Somehow magically work and life is going to be perfectly balanced and everybody's going to be happy and live happily ever after. The thing is, balance doesn't mean perfectly balanced all the time. Balanced means that it balances one way but balances back the other way on a regular basis. Rather than looking for a work-life balance, try and correct the imbalance, because it's not the balance you're looking for, it's the imbalance that you're trying to change. So many people we talk to are working 80 hours a week for too long. Now it's a choice you make, and this is the human side of it that I'm talking about. It's not business tools, it's not download this free workbook and do this. It's the choice that you make as a human every day to go in on a Sunday, or to not go to the park with the kids on a Saturday morning. Those are human choices. And I think one of the greatest things we do that I get such an emotional feeling from is for a customer or somebody we're working with to give me some feedback and say, hey Bruce, and I just worked with someone on this a couple of weeks ago. The family wasn't happy with me because I've been working for too long and putting in too many hours and not going on the family trips and just not showing up for the family like I promised I would as a father and as a husband. Yet would then go in on to work on a Sunday and putting the client's priorities over the family. I had a pretty hard conversation with him. Just say, stop making that choice. If you had to choose to be with anybody for the rest of your life, would you choose to be with your customers or would you choose to be with your family? And of course he chose his family. And so my next question was, Well, who are you prepared to lose then? Well, I'm not prepared to lose my family. Okay, so then you be prepared to lose a customer to hold on to your family. Now, so we had that conversation. It eventually resulted in, I think what you should do today is to get your factory team working for 4 hours, get them all sorted, and then go home and have lunch with your family, which he did. And then a couple of days later, I got a message back from him saying, thank you for the words of advice. We've done that, and it was the best thing I ever did, and I really needed that. But again, it was a choice he made to follow my advice. I didn't do it. He had to do it. We make choices. We make choices if we work too many hours. We make choices if we say yes to a customer you know is going to be a problem. So the human side of business isn't about tools. It's not about fancy software, or it is about that, but more than anything, it's about the choices that you're making. And sometimes it's the hard choice you make once to make all the easy choices there for you to make. The hard choice is to say no to a customer, to go and spend time with your family. But then you set a precedent that you don't work on Sundays. Or you set a new habit where you do say no sometimes. That new habit makes it easier to say no more often. So I'd love to have conversations with people about this more often. That what are the choices as a human are you prepared to make? And what are you beating yourself up about that you're not making? I constantly beat myself up about not, spending enough time exercising and being fit. But it is a choice that I'm making to not do it. When I make the choice to do it, I feel better. So let's have a conversation around what choices you're making. Comments on YouTube. If this is on social media playing somewhere, put a comment in the box. Let's have a chat. What can we help you with to change your habits and make new choices? All right. Bruce from the Joinery Business Podcast. Hopefully this has been helpful and useful. Love to hear from you. Have a great week. Cheers.